Let's have a fucking chat, shall we? Let's have a wee chat about a new album that has just dropped that has taken over my life. Take Me Back to Eden by Sleep Token. We're stepping into a review of an album that is very anticipated, but these guys are a bit of a love-hate. They have a love-hate relationship in the scene. A lot of people love them, a lot of people hate them. I used to be on the hate side of it. To give a brief history and rundown, when they first started blowing up on the scene, when they started doing like The Offering and stuff, they had EPs and singles before that and covers, but I didn't really tune in. But yes, The Offering was the first thing that I listened to, and I didn't think it was all that. I thought it was alright. I didn't think it was as amazing as everyone was making it out to be. Doing that, I didn't quite listen to the first album. I went into the second album, which came out 2021, This Place Will Become Your Tomb, expecting, oh, this is going to be a shit show, because I didn't like The Offering. Going into that, I was so wrong. To bring the flex section up early, it became one of my favorite albums of 2021. Actually, fifth favorite album. There was a lot that came out in 2021 that I loved. I loved that album to death, and I had that one on loop. It was repeated loop, just constantly on loop. All I could do was listen to that album. Then they started dropping singles for this album. Chokehold, The Summoning. They dropped them two at once as well. They would drop one day, and then the next day they would drop another single, which is insane to me. They did that twice. Vor and Do You Wish That You Love Me came out very much later. I don't know if they were in the same vein. I feel like they were staggered. It was interesting. It started kind of a trend in the heavy music scene where people are starting to release two singles at once, which is great. But at the same time, it's like, is it great? Because we've heard a lot of the album now. Luckily for us, there was a lot more content to consume when it comes to this album. So this band is completely anonymous. We don't know who's behind the masks. At this point, I don't care. I think the story carries everything. Going into this album, knowing the story behind the whole masks being the deity of sleep. They worship the deity of sleep. This apparently being the conclusion to a trilogy of albums, which is insane to me. How do you conceptualize something that far ahead? I digress. So my first reaction, we actually did a listen through on stream. Sat here with a few of my viewers, and we had a good old listen through, and I loved the experience of listening to it day one. There were a couple of interesting choices that really took me off guard immediately. There was things like the Ascensionism. There was like a really Travis Scott sounding section. There was a rap section on Take Me Back to Eden. Are You Really Okay? That took me by surprise as well, because it was a very finger-picked, beautiful sounding thing. It sounded like an old 90s song. Same with Rain. But yeah, it is definitely their most ambitious work to date, and I'd say that I would best describe it as beautiful imperfection. It's not trying to be this perfect piece of written music. It is trying to be ambitious. It's trying to be something that'll catch you off guard. To step into the production side of things, it's absolutely gorgeous. This album is produced so brilliantly. These guys know how to handle low-end guitars. They sound incredible. The drums, so crisp, so clear. And it's best for a drummer like too, because he's something else. At one point, he was the biggest talking point of the band because of his fills and how expressive he is with the drums. They have incredibly balanced synths that create so much atmosphere. They have beautiful piano sections and just things that really just take you to another place. His vocals cut through, they are soaring. Whilst look, you can make the argument he's singing in cursive. Doesn't matter. You get past that. We've done it before. We did it with Pearl Jam. We did it with Creed. I don't know if everyone did it with Creed, but we did it with Pearl Jam. There was an entire genre of grunge that had that voice. It's like, come on, you can't accept this guy? He's doing incredible work. The production is incredible. It sounds gigantic. The songwriting, it's immaculate, man. I don't know how you can write songs like this, how you can bend so many genres. I know that there's like things like 12-Foot Ninja, for instance, which bend genres quite well. They're probably the best example and best comparison, but these guys do it in a way where it's like they're blending metalcore, they're blending alt pop, they're blending rap music now for whatever reason, trap and all that kind of business, some old ballads and like Beatles even sounding inspired stuff. It's incredible that I actually got to experience a work this incredible. Going down the list of songs, I still stand by Chokehold is probably the best song they've ever written to this day, just because of how perfect it is as an opener, how perfect it is just listening to it, hearing that crazy scratchy synth, that saw coming in, giving you nothing but tension, only for it to be dropped low on your head by a Thol riff. Of all things, they went Viljada for the first song, which I can't praise enough. I don't know how you sing over that. Like, you can make a melody to a fucking Thor riff, but they did it. They did it. Humanity's Last Breath, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. I need some cleans on this album. I don't need cleans. Please just give me heavy, filthy stuff. August 1, guys. August 1. Then The Summoning. A lot of people were put onto this song through like TikTok and those kinds of things. TikTok really took off with this song. I think mainly because of the section at the end where it goes into like this very funky kind of thing, which it's a really cool song. I quite enjoyed it. It was definitely one of the better singles that dropped. Then you go into Granite. That one was more of a alt pop ballad that sat back a little bit more than the other two singles, which was interesting because that was the third single to drop, and I was like, okay, I don't know where this is going, but soon as you hear it in the context of the album, it's perfect. It fits perfectly. It's got alt pop section, heavy section. It's well written. It's well put together. Aqua Regia, which has a very jazzy influence and very poppy vocals over the top of it, very catchy. It's a very good song if you're looking to lay back a little bit and just have a little bit of a vibe, a little bit of head nod, you know. Vor, which is the heavy one. It seems that they have a tradition where most 4-letter songs of their discography are heavier than the others. But yes, Vor was no exception to that. That was heavy ass song, brought in nothing but just like the bigness. He did some screaming on that, which honestly I'd say is probably the weakest point of the band, which is interesting enough for a metal band. It has a soaring chorus as well. It's a very, very good chorus for a song. It breaks it up very nicely. Ascensionism. This was my favorite on the day of listening, like the very first listening party. Even though it has that Travis Scott section, even though that kind of grew on me a lot when it came into the album. It was surprising, but an incredible ballad. That song alone can take you on a journey, let alone this entire album. Are You Really Okay is a song that it's got like that finger plucking section. It sounds like a bit of the Beatles, a bit of Beatles mixed with, like, let's say if they were a 90s grunge band. It's a very good song. It coasts well on its ballad power. I'm surprised at how much I enjoyed that song. It took me a while to get into that one. It took me a while. That was followed by The Apparition, which is this really dark story of a ghost or something in his dream that he's just fighting to keep. And he really wants it. It's like, why are you never real is the hook. That's the main line of the story, and holy fuck. You could feel the anguish of him trying to reach out to the spirit and just being like, manifest for me, for fuck's sake. Do You Wish That You Love Me? A song that was kind of contentious to begin with. Started off its life as a single, which I don't think was the best decision, but they have done it in the past with songs like Fall For Me. I still don't think it should have been a single, personally, but that's just me. It grew on me in the context of the album, and I quite enjoy the song now, but it is probably the bottom rung of the album for me. The next song, Rain, was this one's just a classic fucking groovy song. It starts off real slow, but then it catches you with this nasty low guitar that just hits you in the face, followed by some snap drums, and it's one of those ones you can really you can just really get down to. Ends with one of those like boom clap sections, you know, not the Charlie XCX kind, the "We Will Rock You" type beats. Take Me Back to Eden, the title track of this album, which honestly, for me, originally didn't hit nearly as hard, mainly because of a rap section that's in the middle of it. I didn't necessarily agree with its inclusion. There would be a way more tasteful way of doing it in another song. I don't know. Maybe Vessel wants to start getting into the rap game. Maybe he's the next Kendrick Lamar. Who knows? It was a section that really made me question the choices of placing that in. It could have been like a perfect held together story by its lonely, but he put in the rap section. At the same time, it's growing on me. I'm not like trying to skip it or anything. Is the thing. I'll still listen to the song, even though it has that in it. And then to top it off, Euclid, which is the perfect finale and send-off. This song starts with a piano line, again, best described by the Beatles. It's got this super nice piano line that just, it captures you. It gives you this heartwarming feeling. And then as soon as they hit that chorus, they hit you in the face and just, they bring you to this place of just like, look, this is the finality of it all. This is it. This is the end of the story. We're done here. They even wrap it back around to the first song that they put on the first album. The first song had a set of lyrics that are repeated on the end of Euclid, which is the perfect way to top off a trilogy. Just coming full circle. Just going back to Take Me Back to Eden. There are reprises to Chokehold. These guys reprise things so well. It is incredible. It's incredible. So, in summary, obviously I'm going to give it an enjoy. I wouldn't be listening to it. I would not be listening to it this much if I didn't enjoy it. And I have to say that this is probably in the running for my album of the year at the moment. I don't know how humans can conceptualize such beautiful pieces of art. It's genuinely baffling. And, I'm so glad to be a part of it. If you want your number score is a 9 out of 10. It's almost there. It's not perfect. It's almost there. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know if you agree. Again, this is a very contentious band. They got haters. They got lovers. That some of the fan base is cringe, but what fucking fan base isn't? If you love this album, fucking let me know. But if you hate this album, let me know why. Like, what's so wrong about it? What's so wrong about it? I really want to know. I don't know what my next review is going to be. I know that I'm going to be doing the Avenged Sevenfold album, which comes out in next week. Next week, a new Avenged Sevenfold album is dropping, and so far the singles sound like it. So let me know if you want me to review something before then. But hey, you love the album? Oh, thank